In this video, I'm going to break down my exact trading system that allowed me to make $2,300 in one session, and all I needed was a 65% win rate. You see, if you've been in Forex or crypto before just like me, you understand that it is very difficult. However, this is a system that I wish I found sooner, and it's a lot simpler than you actually think. This is quick trading, and all it takes is 5 rules and a system that you can copy from me inside of this video. You see, here's what's different about it. It's definitely not Forex, it's not crypto, and it's nothing like some type of indicator that is constantly overloaded. For example, with Forex, you don't need to stare at 4 different currency pairs for 6 hours just waiting for a London Open to happen. And then before you know it, your stop loss is being hunted by new spikes and you're losing money all over the show. You see, when I was doing Forex, I ran my very own SMC system, and for a couple months, I wasn't necessarily wrong about the direction. However, I still ended up losing money. You see, the market was right, but my stop loss just kept getting hunted at the end of the day. You see, Forex was designed for you to predict and get the right direction. However, you will still end up losing money because it's heavily manipulated by new spikes. It just always hunts towards your stop loss. Quick trading is also not crypto because you don't need to hold a bag for 3 months and hope for a move to happen. At the end of the day, you're just praying, you're not even trading, and you're completely gambling on some altcoin and hoping for a move that is just never going to happen. And trust me, it is definitely not a 47 indicator setup that takes 30 minutes to confirm with one entry. You see, most people fail at trading for one reason. The system that they use has way too many variables to allow them to execute under pressure and execute consistently. See, 20 indicators, 5 time frames, conflicting signals. By the time everything lines up, the move is either gone or they panic and they enter early. You need to understand that quick trading works because it removes decision fatigue. Because all you are using is 5-second trades, 5 rules, 1 direction, 1 system. That is it. So here's how you can do it. It's simple. There's only 5 rules that you have to follow. The first rule is that you need to identify a very clear uptrend or a very clear downtrend. That's it. You only trade with the trend and never against it. The second rule is that you need to confirm a candle to match the exact same color as that trend. For example, if we're in a downtrend over here, we only want to be focusing on the candles that are red and that match the overall downward movement so that we are able to place trades on all of these trends over here. The exact same would apply for an uptrend over here, where we are simply only focusing on the green candles that are forming and matching them to the overall trend. This trend alignment overall is very important, and you're going to see that very soon. The third rule is that you need to confirm the entire continuation of the move, and how you can do that is when you are in a trend and you're identifying, for example, during this uptrend, you need to be able to see at least 2 consecutive green candles at different phases. For example, we have a phase over here with 2 consecutive green candles. We have a phase over here with 2 consecutive green candles, and once again another example over here. If I were to do it a little neater, you would see it as a point over there, a point over here, as well as this point over here. In a downtrend, the exact same would apply, where you would identify the main movement over here, and then all you have to look for are the candle matches, which you can see is quite abundant, and then you look for consecutive red candles, especially 2 in a row. For example, these 2 over here, these 2 over here, these 2 over here, and these 2 over here. These are all different phases, which will provide us with opportunities to take those 5-second trades. Identifying these confirmations in these 2 candles over here is so important because it's not just telling you about a single candle, it's telling you the entire momentum of the entire move. Rule number 4 is that you need to wait for a pullback in the trend. For example, we have a main move down here. We have our confirmation of our 2 candles which are matching and are red. We then wait for our pullback into a 50% level over here, and then we are able to take that continuation to the downside. We see that it repeats itself every time. We have a pullback over here, back into the 50% level, and we are able to take more and more sells off of these 2 red candles here. The same applies with these ones over here, as well as these ones over here, because there is a main pullback there into a 50% level, and once again we can take the trade. It pulls back and we can take the trade again. It applies the exact same for an uptrend. You have a main push up here. We understand that this is mainly an uptrend, so we want to see our confirmation on our 2 green candles. We then wait for the pullback on a red candle like this, which happens at a 50% retracement level. For example, over here we get our 50% retracement. We can take our 5-second buy and ride this momentum back to the upside. It's very important to wait for this pullback against the trend. You see, this is your setup candle. This is the most important rule that most people skip. and it's the one that could kill your win rate if you completely ignore it. Finally, rule number 5, as you would know, is to obviously enter at the right moment. For example, in this uptrend, we had our main push. We then had our pullback into a 50% level over here. We wait for momentum to start spiking and building at this level here towards the upside, and then we place our 5-second buy and catch these 2 candles over here. The exact same applies for a downtrend where we have our main push, we have a retracement back into the 50% level. As soon as it hits the 50% level over here, we are able to take our 5-second sell and we're able to catch these moves all the way down here. The exact same applies after these pullbacks. It is very important to understand this. You see, when you enter on the next candle in that trend direction with the 5 expiry time, that is the trade that you need to be taking. And here's why it actually works. You need to understand that OTC markets trend in one direction. They either trend downwards or they trend upwards. That is it. After they trend in a specific direction, they always retrace. Then that's a structural behavior, not just a prediction. You see, these 5 rules that we are using over here allows you to catch it on the right side of that move before it decides to continue moving downwards, where we are able to catch our profits in the 5-second trades that we take. At the end of the day, when you're following a system like this, you are simply not guessing. You are executing on a pattern that repeats itself because of how these markets are built. To summarize it, it's very simple. Identify the trend. You can see on the 1-minute chart whether it is going up or down. You then trade with that trend only. You wait for a candle confirmation on the trend, whether if it's bullish in an uptrend or bearish in a downtrend. You need that simple alignment. Then you need to confirm the confirmation. You need at least 2 consecutive candles in that trend direction where the momentum is real. You wait for a pullback candle against the trend towards the 50% level of your pullback. It's important to realize that this is the setup for your candle, and if you skip this, well, your win rate is going to die. And then the final step, step 5, is where you need to enter on the next candle in the trend. You take a 5-second expiry trade, and that is it. After the 5 seconds, the trade will close automatically and you will make money. Why does this work? Once again, well, OTC markets are structured and trend in one direction, and then they retrace. They will trend upwards, they will retrace back into a 50% level and continue upwards, or they will pull down, they will retrace back upwards over here into a 50% level and continue back downwards. We are taking the trades inside of these areas of interest over here. You see, this is structural behavior. This is not some type of prediction. These 5 rules over here are allowing you to catch yourself on the right side of that movement every single time that it forms, as we see over here or over here. You see, you're not guessing, you're executing on a repeating pattern, which is exactly what quick trading is built on. Here is the entire setup and charting platform and broker that we're going to be using. We're going to be using Pocket Option with the OTC markets with a 1-minute candle time and a 5-second expiry time. We also have our calculator set up over here for our trade size to be $800, which is the exact same over here. You will see me bounce between these 2 pages throughout the entire session so that I can track my session and see exactly how well I'm performing. Without further ado, let's go into the live session. So what we have here is an overall uptrend, and you can see that it is currently a red candle. This does not suit the overall trend and the confirmation, therefore we cannot be taking this trade. All we will do is either wait for this to go into a green candle, but we see it is not doing that, so we will change the pair until we see something that aligns with the overall trend. Right now we see that these markets are consolidating and staying sideways, therefore we will not be taking any trades. Here is an overall downtrend. We see that retracement back into the 50% level, so we can take a sell over here. We see that we lost our trade, therefore we're going to log it into our calculator over here. The most likely reason that we lost that trade is because we are currently still in a bit of a range and the market is not moving sideways. We see a strong uptrend forming over here, so we're going to wait for our pullback into our 50% level, so wait for that candle to come down a bit, and when it does, we're going to pounce on it and take our trade. There we go. So we are in now for the buy. We are placing our trade. If we lose this one, we could take even more trades on this and we'll get our win. There we have it. Perfect. So we lost the trade and then we obviously ended up winning too. This takes us back into break even. That was a very good trade to take because we saw that it created a new high. It created a push back up and then obviously retraced back downwards, and we took our trade on that entry and won. We see the beginning of an uptrend starting to form, and we see that it is retracing back into our 50% level. So we are able to take another buy over here. And there we have it. another trade that we have won over there, and we can log it into the trading calculator. That was a very good trade because we saw that an uptrend is forming at this point over here. We saw a strong retracement back down into a 50% level, and we obviously ended up taking our 5-second buy and winning that trade. Very good stuff. Once again, we see another strong uptrend forming here from this low all the way up to this high, so we understand that we need to be entering on a strong pullback. We see that this is a strong pullback, and in fact we will continue to place buys on this trade. We see that this will result in a break-even trade, so when that happens, we will not record it inside of our calculator and we will move on to a new trade. We see here that we are still in a consolidating market and we are stuck within a range, so we are not going to place this trade. We will just find a new opportunity once again. We are in a strong uptrend. We can continue with this trend direction and place our buy. If we lose, because we're in such a strong 50% retracement level, we can afford to take the trade upwards and win them. And there we have it. So we ended up losing a trade over there. We will add our loss. However, we got 2 wins there, which now puts us up to $1,280 on the session. We can continue to do this over here. We wait for our retracement back into our 50% point. So let's get it. There we have it. There's our retracement. And now we place our buy over here, and you can see how the price continues to move upwards. We have another trade over there. Very good stuff. We are obviously following the 5-step rule where we see that the market pushes up very strongly, comes back down. We have 2 consecutive green candles, and then we had a push up, a retracement back into our 50% level where we took our buy over there. And that's all that we need to do, right? We need to obviously time our pullbacks correctly and place that buy when we know we should. Very good trade, and that puts us up even more money. There we have it. So now we are currently up $2,016 on the session, and we are looking to close this very soon. We will take a couple more trades, and we need to be very careful with our risk management. We see that this market is once again consolidating, so there is no trend alignment whatsoever. If it was moving like this, for example, with a strong downtrend, then we would only ever consider it, or with a strong uptrend. We see once again, this is stuck between 2 points. It's not a good market to be trading in. Here we have it. This looks like a very strong downtrend, so we will wait for that pullback. We have it there. Remember, we have our 2 candles to confirm the direction of the trend, which is continuing downwards. We will wait for that strong pullback upwards, and now we can continue to take our sell. If this loses, we can just continue back downwards. However, this is going to result in, once again, another winning trade. Why is that? Well, step 1, we identified the strong trend over here. Step number 2, we identified a red candle, which formed over here. Step 3, we identified the confirmation in these 2 candles, red candles, which were forming in the overall downtrend. Step 4, we identified a retracement back into the 50% level of our candle, because this is what it would have looked like. And then we took our 5-second sell at this point over here and ended up winning our 5-second trade. We obviously logged that into our calculator, which puts us up to $2,752 and a very similar result to the other session that I had just the other day. So now let's get back to the calculator over here and look at the stats. We see that I took a total of 10 trades with a 70% win rate, 7 wins, 3 losses. I ended up making a total of $2,752, which is actually very similar stats to this session that I did over here. We are going to continue this session and see how much money we can make. We need to be very conservative with our psychology and our risk, so we will be very careful. We see here that we have an overall downtrend, so we will wait for a red candle to form. We see that this is not the case just yet, so what we're going to do is obviously just leave that candle. We see an uptrend is forming over here. We have 2 consecutive green candles, and we see a strong pullback into our 50% level, so we know this is a good opportunity to place a buy. If we lose this trade, we can take another 2 buys because we know that this will continue back to the upside. And there we have it, another winning trade. We first came off of a loss over there, however we were able to recover it with very good risk management. If you want to start practicing this exact 5 rules system before you actually move onto your real money, there is a link below in the description with a free 2-hour course which you can use to get started. It's the exact same system, the exact same rules, just going more in depth so that you can actually get started with it. Remember to always start on a demo account first before you move on to a real account. Let's close this session off a little bit more strong over here and see if we can win a couple more trades. We see that this is going to continue back towards the upside, so we're going to take another buy over here. If this loses, once again, we're just going to take 2 more buys because we know that the market will want to push in this direction. We understand understand that it's at our 50% retracement level. So there we have it, another win. We had a loss there, however we were able to recover it and make even more profits because we simply followed the system that we understand is going to bring us money, whether it's the risk management or the 5 rule system that I've been breaking down throughout this entire video. Looking at our calculator over here, we're at a 68.75% win rate. You see here with a total of 16 trades, we have 111 and we have made a total of $4,096. This is much better, and if not even way better than the previous session that I did over here with only a 65% win rate and $2,300 made. What never changes though is the expiry time that I used, which was 5 seconds, as well as the rules which I had to follow. You copy the system every single time, you are expected to see the exact same results. And that is exactly what quick trading is built on, a repeatable system that can bring you the exact same outcome every single time as long as you do the same thing. Quick notes on the risk management. You see, if your session total drops below the -3% on it of your starting capital, then you need to stop for that day. And let me tell you why. You see, the calculator tracks this automatically. It's not some emotional decision. You see, the numbers will always tell you when to walk away. And at the end of the day, no one ever went broke taking profits. Listen to the calculator, understand what it's telling you during your session, and I promise you, you will become a much better trader. Now, you need to see that this is just one session, my own session, but this isn't just my system. Here is exactly what the last 30 days of log sessions look like across the entire quick trading community. These students over here who are able to make $3,000, $15,000, $2,000, $336,000, $700, or $600 all used the same 5 rules. They are completely different people. However, the pattern works because it is structural, not personal. We can look even deeper into some of our top students. For example, Yanni, who's at $336,000, and he was able to use this exact same system to make this amount of money. Ibrahim went from $1,000 to $15,000 in his first week, all because of these 5 rules and using the structure and the system that was set in place. Renee, who started off as a broke person, is now making $13,000 a month using that system that is extremely grateful for. Phil, one of my mates, is making $1,332 a day or $30,000 every single month. The exact same 5 rules, completely different people. However, they understand the system. They understand the process because it is a simple pattern that can be repeated every single day in order to bring them consistent results at any different size. One more thing, you see that my starting capital over here is not that big. You see that I'm taking $800 trades for 1% when I could have been taking $4,700 trades. But here's the thing, you need to understand that you do not need a massive account in order to make money from this. You just need to enter it inside of the calculator, which will adjust your trade size for you to your capital. Let the risk management and the math do the work for you. Never let your emotions get ahead of you and simply follow the pattern that I've taught throughout this entire video, because what matters is that pattern performing within the range, not the actual size of the position. You see, a person who is taking $200 trades will be just as successful as a person who has $1,000 trades, because I only care about the win rates that you have. You see, all of these students, regardless of whether they have different profits, they all have the exact same win rates. And at the end of the day, that's the single thing that I'm the most proud of, because when these smaller students are able to get to a size like Yanni or a size like Phil, they will be making the exact same money because they understand the processes, they understand the math, and they understand that the money will always come to them following the system. You see, if you're a person who's starting with $500, you're also going to be profitable because the system works across any account size. Because at the end of the day, the math scales and the system works. What doesn't scale is the indecision, it's the emotion. And that's exactly what quick trading removes, to allow you to have a profitable win rate over the long run, and in order to take more trades than a forex or crypto trader ever would. Here's exactly what I want you to take from this. You see, you watch the entire full system, the 5 rules, the live execution over here, nothing hidden. You can take this and you can start demo trading it today without moving onto a real account. However, here is the gap that most people hit. You see, they know the 5 rules, right? But they cannot execute it consistently under that pressure. Why is that? Because they will rush their entries, they'll skip the pullback candle, and they'll chase losses outside of the 3% rule. You see, at the end of the day, these rules that you can follow here are not the problem, the application is. And that is exactly what I fix inside of my 300 Inner Circle mentorship. You see, it's not more strategies, it's me inside of your sessions diagnosing your specific failure points until you hit a 65% win rate for over 14 days straight. And it's not just that, I mean, you get a whole bunch more inside of this mentorship. Starting out, you get an onboarding audit where I review your actual recorded trades before our first call. I identify your weak points and your strong points, and we are able to operate based off of that. I also give you a personal session protocol, which is built around your time window and your risk tolerance, building a system that works uniquely for you, completely personalized to allow you to make money and get above 65% win rates over 14 days straight. You and I will also be hopping on 3 weekly live diagnostic calls. And probably one of my most favorites is the trade reviews. You see, you post a session and within 24 hours, I'll send back a personal video breaking down exactly what you are doing right and what you are doing wrong. It's for 6 months or for a lifetime. The link is there for you to apply in the description. Limited spots are open each and every single month. However, if you are not there yet, there is a free community which is also linked below where you can go and grab the free course and take this 5 rules setup to the next level. You will be using the exact same calculator, the exact same 5 rules, and you can start your 50 demo sessions and prove it to yourself first before you actually start to go and make some real money. Either way, at the end of the day, on this YouTube video, you have this session based on the lessons that I gave you over here, or whether you decide to take it to the next level and decide to join the free course. Now it's just completely up to you whether you want to use it wisely and actually start making money with it. If this was useful, like and subscribe, and if you have any questions about the rules or the inner circle, just drop them in the comments. I respond to each and every single one, and I'll see you in the next session.